back. Welcome back to the Openly Occultic Book Club. We're reading section 9 of the definitive book of human design. Section 9 is going over a few sample charts so that we can get a little glimpse into how we can see what we're seeing or understand what we're seeing when we're looking at all these different symbols and what have you on the body graph charts. So thank you for joining me. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We want more people to know about human design so we can have more people to discuss these things with, right? We're trying to run our own human design experiment and we need more input. We need more people. So, again, thanks for joining us. Let's get back to the book. Okay, we're here on the overview of the projector. Their aura, like always, is different from the previous ones we looked into. Their aura is focused and absorbing. Very different from the manifestor aura, very different from the two types of generator auras. Projectors' auras are focused and absorbing. Now, this profile that we'll be looking at, this chart, is a 6-2 profile. Their strategy is to wait to be invited, as projectors' energy is. And there's projectors' channels as well. So, projector type energy and different gates and things like that. I don't want to get deeper or go off on a tangent from where we're at, but just so we know, the strategy of projector energy is to wait to be invited. Now, for this person, their authority is splenic, right? We see their sacral is not defined, which is why they're not a generator. And if their solar plexus center was defined, their authority would be emotional, right? So, as it is, their authority is splenic. Their definition is simple split. Their not self theme would be bitterness, and signature is success, right? As projectors, not self themes and signatures are want to be. So, yeah, we can see looking here at this chart, um, we can see a simple split between the G center and the heart center. That's one group where energy is just flowing continuously through. But other than that, the throat and spleen center are also their own group. So I can see the simple split, right? This is Ringo Starr, by the way. Okay. So he is the left angle cross of individualism, right? The left angle cross of individualism. An undefined head, ajna, sacral, solar plexus, and root center. All those are undefined. The channels that Ringo Starr has is the 5720, the brainwave, which is a design of penetrating awareness, and 5125, initiation, a design of needing to be first, right? Now, as a projector, Mr. Starr, you're designed with an absolute drive within you to integrate with the other, not out of neediness, but rather an extraordinary curiosity. This curiosity is a part of the way that your aura works because you have the ability to penetrate to the self or to the identity of the other, right? That's the, hey, projector. You have a keen ability to read the energy of others and instinctively know where and how best their energy can be utilized. This is your great gift as a projector, being able to recognize others. Your gift as an intuitive guide for others only works properly, however, when you too have been recognized by those that you're here to guide. Only when you've been invited to share what you sense and know. It's very tempting for you to initiate and offer your guidance before it's been invited. But when you do, you'll generally experience resistance and feel bitter about the encounter. You have a very penetrating and powerful aura, and it draws people to you. By trusting and surrendering to your design, you're allowing life to provide you with what you need. The keys for you are to allow your aura to naturally attract people to you who recognize you and to move through life without an agenda. The moment you carry an agenda, or want a particular outcome, you set yourself up for bitterness. Just show up and see what happens, right? Invitations from others are very important for you. All the significant things in life come to you through an invitation. It's not just any invitation, though. It must contain recognition. You must feel recognized when invited. You must feel seen by the invitation. When people really get you or see you for your natural gifts, then you'll feel successful in your life. When you try to get invited or recognized, you meet with resistance and feel bitter. This is a signpost that you can recognize for yourself when you initiate rather than wait. The invitation can also come through another person, as for example, a friend who calls or emails or invites you to consider something that they think you might like to attend. And yet, all invitations are not correct for you either. How do you decide which invitations are delicious for you and which are not? Your aura, as a projector, penetrates deeply into others, so deeply it's almost as if you're consuming them. If the invitation is not delicious, therefore, it's not correct. Decisions are everything in life. They're our navigation system. Each decision we make takes us in one direction or another. Decisions made from your authentic self mean that you'll live an authentic life. When you make decisions based on shoulds, you're making decisions based on conditioning by others. Your authority is how you make decisions as yourself. Interesting. The part of your design that you can trust to make correct decisions as yourself is your splenic center. The spleen is an in the now type of authority. The spleen is about survival, and its primary job is to keep you safe and alive. This is a very essential awareness, and when your spleen speaks or nudges you, it's critical that you listen in that moment. The information you'll hear will not be repeated, and it's spoken in the quiet little voice of your intuition, but it's very important. As a projector, you naturally have a strong intellect, and your mind will try and override your spleen. The mind loves to come up with reasons for this and that. The spleen does not operate as a mental reason making center. It's simply instinctive awareness. It just knows. If you allow your mind to override your instincts, you end up in the emergency room saying, I knew that was going to happen. Dang. In order for your life to operate correctly, you must trust your splenic center and its messages in the moment. They're your truth. Okay. One of the beautiful gifts that you bring to other people is your ability to probe and ask questions without wanting or desiring a particular answer. You're able to just be present to the truth of the other, to their truth, not what you think their truth is or should be. This is a very transformational and empowering experience for the person on the receiving end of your questions. The potential transformation only happens, however, when you can operate without an agenda. Your profile, the costume you wear, and the role you play in life is that of a role model hermit. Time is required for you to emerge as a role model who lives your authentic self. You have a unique three-stage life process. The first 30 years or so are a very subjective time of trial and error experiences in life. The second stage, from the age of 30 to 50, is a time of objective observation. You climb up on the roof, so to speak, and take a look around and review the first 30 years. You sense that you're being observed even while you're observing others, and this is how you become a sounding board for society's insatiable curiosity about humanity. And it gives you great transpersonal power and becomes an attracting force in your life. After the age of 50, you flower into a role model for others. It's time for you to come back off the roof and into the world so that you can live among the rest of us and show us how it's done. This is a very special time for you, not unlike a rebirth, but with all the wisdom that you've required, and now it's time to use that wisdom to experience life in a new way. The rest of you The rest of us look to you as an example of self mastery and personal leadership in terms of how to live as a conscious and aware person who has transcended both the subjective and objective. The hermit side of you is very happy to sit home and just do its own thing. You really don't understand how you do what you do in life, but as a role model, as someone who lives as your authentic self, your process is complete when you're called out to apply what you naturally do well. Now, you have a split in your design, which means that there are two separate areas in your design that are not connected to each other. One area is the splenic center connected to the throat by the channel of the brain wave, a design of penetrating awareness, that's channel 5720. You have a spontaneous voice that's combined with incredibly sharp intuition. You have the ability to adapt and improvise in the moment or think on your feet. And to truly utilize this gift, there's two things you need to know. First, you must overcome your fear of the unknown and learn how to trust your intuition. Second, you need to be alert for the invitation to speak that expresses your existential knowing as wisdom for others. Right? You got to wait for that invitation to speak. In this way, you can avoid being misunderstood or ignored. Listen, trust, and act on your intuition in the moment. It's so important for you to be tuned into the present moment and not distracted by the dictates and reason making of the mind. If ignored, the moment will pass and you'll suffer for it. The other part of your split is where the heart is connected to the G center via the channel of initiation, a design of needing to be first, channel 5125. It's simply the nature of your individuality to be competitive, and you arouse or empower competitiveness in others. When invited, competitiveness or shock can push you into the unknown to stretch, test, and even transcend your normal limits and endurance. This is a true leap into the void because the outcome is never guaranteed. When you triumph, however, you get a new sense of personal, even mystical power within yourself, which, when with your gutsy ways of achieving your personal goals, becomes an example of courage for others. You also express yourself through creativity. When invited, initiation for you becomes art, as your nature is to recognize both the potential for mutation in others and the need to empower others towards it, because mutation cannot remain isolated and still retain its viability. On the mystical level, you're the shaman, a specially gifted innocent who artfully initiates a quantum leap towards individuation and self awareness. Because you have a split definition in your design, there can be a feeling in you that something is missing. In order to resolve this feeling, you tend to initiate, going out into life looking for something or someone to resolve the feeling. You end up making decisions with your mind rather than your splenic center. Remember, your decisions guide your life, and if you're navigating without your authority, then you're headed in the wrong direction, meeting the wrong people, and ending up in the wrong environments. And when this split, and then this split in your design ends up confusing you. The key is to relax, trust, and allow life to bring you what you need, to stop seeking. hmm As a split definition, you're naturally designed to have partners in your life. Your natural partners will bridge your split and give you a healthy sense of completion or wholeness. In order for you to have the right people in your life, it's important that you follow your strategy and authority when entering into, when being invited into relationships. You'll have many relationships throughout your life, and eventually you'll be able to teach the rest of us about relationships in general. In your design, there's three gates which can potentially bridge your split. These open gates become strong areas of conditioning for you as you feel you need to live them out in order to be complete. When you do live through those open gates, however, you end up making decisions from your not self as they're not you. Not self decisions can play out in your life through gate 7, the role of the self, by you initiating to see how you can lead others or how you can be a better leader. Your not self mind will be focused on developing your creativity and self expression as an artist through gate 1, self expression, and how you should behave in the world and how you love yourself through gate 10, the behavior of self. These three themes will be the focus of your life, right? Because they would potentially bridge that gap of energy. So because you feel like you're lacking, you're going to kind of try to do those things or be those things, and it's not you. So surrender to all that, let it go, and you'll meet people along the way that bridge that. And together you'll accomplish the dream or the vision or the mission, right? It's wholeness there. These three themes will be the focus of your life. These open places that bridge the two areas in your design will push you to initiate and to try to be noticed and recognized, which will usually lead to resistance and then bitterness. The truth is, once you surrender to your strategy and authority, these three themes become areas in your life where you become very wise. Through observing those who bridge your split, you become wise about ways to love yourself, to creatively express yourself, and to best lead others when invited. Your choice is to struggle down the road trying to initiate and hitting your head against the wall of resistance, or you can simply surrender and allow your design to take you down your unique path towards wisdom. That sounds great. Gosh, it can be so hard sometimes to just be patient and wait. But opportunities are actually presenting themselves all through the day, right? You're being invited to answer the door or answer a phone call or a text, all day, right? You can turn it off too. Do not disturb. But anyway, you're being invited all the time. You're getting emails all day. So there's always invitations coming, but choose correctly the invitations for yourself. Yeah. And that's what's up. To know that you can simply surrender and allow your design to take you down your unique path. Remember, because we have the design side and the personality side. So, some of this is in your DNA. You're going in the direction that is coded into the matrix for you. That's what it is. So, you know, don't fight it. Go on your unique journey. You have 5 undefined centers in your design where you can also become very wise. Our definition is us as the student, and our undefined centers are where we go to school. You're someone who's very open minded, and you have the potential to mentally process life logically or abstractly, or even with just a very individual knowing, depending on who you are with. Your undefined head center, however, pressures you to answer life's questions and to chase after one inspiring thing after another. This is an endless and exhausting quest. The wisdom for you with an undefined head center is to learn to discern which questions are worthy of your attention. Your undefined Ajna center pushes you to want to be certain things or pushes you to want to be certain about things in life. You have a fear that you'll look stupid if you don't have the answers. So you try to find the answers that you can be certain about. The wisdom here is to learn to allow concepts to float through you without getting attached to any of them, and to be okay with the statement, I don't know. Eventually, you'll become very wise about which concepts have value or not. You can get so detached from your body with an undefined head and Ajna center that you're completely out of touch with your splenic authority. When you find yourself getting lost in your thoughts, bring yourself back into your body because this is where your true self guidance resides. Your strategy and authority are your navigator in this. Your undefined sacral center causes you to overdo, overcommit, work too hard, and to potentially be obsessed with sex. You must realize that you're not designed as an energy type, right? The sacral center is a motor, but you don't have that motor 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So you're designed to guide others who have the energy, but not to do it all yourself. It's very easy for you to fall into the trap of doing too much, which leads to exhaustion and eventual ill health. The wisdom for your undefined sacral center is to know when enough is enough. Listening to your body consciousness, your spleen, is the key to keeping you healthy. Also, that splenic area is housing your immune system as well. So people with that defined spleen center often, according to this book, we read it early towards the beginning, but that defined spleen center can make you have a stronger immune system. But if you're just running it, you know, like I said, it'll lead to exhaustion and eventual ill health. So you got to rest and know that you're not built with that motor from the sacral center. And he also doesn't have the motor in his root center. So yeah, you know. And I think we should talk about that because, you know, we're in a society where we're told to just keep hustling, work hard, sleep is for the dead, rest is for the dead, and just keep going till you die and run your body out. Really, at the end of the day, the root of society, it seems like it's built around slavery. Like, just be a slave and work. And once your body runs out, hey, now you can rest. And it's crazy. And it's sad. And I need people to pay attention because there's just no need for any of this. And here we're reading that there's some people that are literally not built for that. So, what do we do to make life better, to flow easier? you know, to have a higher quality of life. If you're not built for certain things, why is society pressuring people to do things they're not built for? And I think the way society is set up is the main issue, of course. Now, we can say there's ignorance prevailing. I don't think there's as much ignorance in the higher places as we think. I think there's a lot of lying and a lot of covering up of truth in the people of higher authority, if you will, the people that are, you know, running these systems that we have going on. It's just something I think about often. We're breaking conditioning. If we're learning human design and we're conducting our experiment, then we know the main thing is to break the conditioning that we've been traumatized from childhood, all the societal expectations and what have you. So when you hear about people not being built with a motor in their root or their sacral center, and these people have spent their whole lives thinking they're supposed to do what they're not built to do. It's a sad situation. I feel like society needs to be reorganized. I definitely, like I said long ago, I definitely feel like natal charts at the least need to be given out at birth to people. But your natal chart is not going to tell you about how you don't have a defined sacral center and how you don't have a defined root center and how you're a projector and you're not built to be doing all the work. You're a visionary. You can see the plan, and now you can better direct people into what to do to make it happen. But your job is not to be working day and night, right? All I do is work. You know what I'm saying? Work. No. So it just I feel, y'all know how I am. You know what I am. I'm a 1-3. You know that my incarnation cross is the vessel of love too, writing across the vessel of love too, and that I'm very much into loving and helping humanity. It's just a natural thing that I got going, and I feel like, like I said, everybody should get a natal chart. Every woman giving birth in the hospital should get a natal chart for this baby and one for herself since you're here. You know what I mean? And but again, that's not going to tell you about this projector strategy and authority. It's not going to tell you about your splenic center not being a motor. It's not going to tell you about you not having a sacral center defined or a defined root center, which are motors. It's not going to tell you that, you know? It's not going to say that. So we need to conduct a human design experiment to know whether these things are true or not, so that we can start to change society and move it to go in mutate it and help it evolve into a better direction. That's just the bottom line. And if I'm wrong, let me know. If you feel like that's wrong, let me know. Because I mean, we're hearing about some real stuff here. I don't know where I got this from. He said a voice. I don't believe all that. I feel like, hey, I don't want to go into all that right now. It doesn't matter. What we're being told here is important, and I know we're listening. If you're here with me, you see it. So then, what do we do with that information? Some people are not built to do this, to be working day and night. That's the main thing. Can we acknowledge that? Do we treat everybody like they're lazy? If that's the case, if they're not, if we don't see them working, I mean, like, what's up? What are we doing? Money is fake anyway. Let's be for real. I'm so sick of this shit. Let's just keep reading. I'm really apathetic. I'm just not impressed with society today. I'm sorry. I might have PMS. Anyway, your undefined solar plexus center causes you to avoid confrontation and truth by trying to be nice and not rock the boat and make waves. You're open and vulnerable to the emotional climate around you, and your tendency is to personalize what you're feeling. To avoid these feelings, you create a nice persona that you present to the world. This, of course, is not the real you. The wisdom with an open solar plexus center is to allow the feelings of others to pass through without personalizing them, to be empathetic without personally taking on the emotions, and to stand up for yourself when it's important to do so. Speaking your splenic authority, your truth in the moment is vital for you, even if it doesn't feel like you're confronting, even if it does feel like you're confronting the other person. Your truth is still your moment. It's still your time. It's important for you to stand up for yourself. The best advice is to state your truth as simply that, your truth, and not make it about the other person, right? Man, this world, y'all, this world is something else. Your undefined root center takes in all the pressure of the world, and you're in a constant hurry to get things done so that you can relax. This pressure is constant, however, and every time you get one thing done, another thing is right there, putting you under pressure again. You can get caught up in a vicious cycle of hurry, 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 which can lead to adrenal burnout. The wisdom with an undefined root is to feel the pressure and not react to it. Learn to procrastinate. By not reacting immediately, simply to relieve the pressure, you can then discern through your strategy and authority which thing really does need your attention. This way, the pressure and adrenal speed can support you rather than burn you out. That's important to know. That's important. That's important information to know. Even in these beginning stages right now, we're just doing an experiment. Now you know what you can experiment on, so you can find the way for you. So, but I feel like it's a lot of people that's co-signing human design, and I think we've seen and heard enough to know in so many ways this is important information. What are we going to do about that? I'm doing what I can by reading this for us on YouTube, so that we can, and not just YouTube, you can now find this podcast on all your other podcast channels, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. So if you ever want to check it out there, feel free. But what can we do? We got to do something. We need a plan. I'm a generator. I'm a 1-3 generator. I'm doing what I can do. Now we need some manifestors and some projectors. To what are we doing? It's plenty of people putting in work though on YouTube, and also I saw on Spotify with Human Design. So it's more information. It's coming out on a more, but everybody's not gonna get this. I don't think there'll be. ever one great utopia where everybody's on the same page. I don't even think I don't see it happening, you know. Certainly not in my lifetime. So I just hope in the future, hopefully I can hope for that in the future, but regardless, it'll come in stages. And so, but I hope it doesn't linger too long cuz shit's crazy out here in this world. We need some order, we need some better systems. A lot of things need to be revamped. And knowing this information, we're talking about health and wellness, you know. So a lot of people losing it because they're stressed out and they're being not themselves. They're operating on the not self, doing things they don't have no business doing, putting energy towards things they don't need to be putting energy to, burning out, losing their health, losing their minds. Come on, what can we do to relieve all that and make all that better? They done already took all the mental hospitals away, as a lot of people are saying. They're just giving, hey, just take a pill. We need real solutions. We need to work out the root of the issues and stop with this putting band-aids on shit. That's not healing it. You know, we're into healing at Cedar Grove Herbs. So we got herbs, we have crystals, we have plenty of books, all kind of tools that you can use to raise your vibration, get healthy, and start getting in alignment. But until these systems change, you can do that at home and try to, make it your whole life, a whole lifestyle change, living in the place you are surrounded by everybody doing the complete opposite. And it doesn't have to be this hard, truly. So I hope things work out. It goes on to say, because we're talking about that adrenal, this person's adrenal can burn out, you know, um, not knowing that they don't have a defined root center and all this pressure is coming, thinking they need to attend to all these pressures and they don't. Their lesson is to learn to procrastinate, relax. You know what I'm saying? Take your time. Don't react immediately just to relieve this pressure, right? This hurry, hurry, hurry pressure. Doing that is going to burn out the adrenal. The adrenal, it's going to lead to adrenal burnout. It's a bad thing. It's not healthy, right? It'll lead to a diseased state, right? When you don't succumb to the distractions of the openness in your design, you can then allow your body consciousness or spleen to be your personal guide in life. It's totally capable of taking care of you through every twist and turn that life presents, always making sure you're in the right place at the right time. And once you're navigating correctly, your incarnation cross can come into its fullest expression. So we're talking about, at the end of the day, we're talking about taking our sovereignty back, right? Take your authority back, because we're giving our authority to all these other people outside when your body, you were already made perfectly, made with all the things you need to guide yourself through this life. Your unique path, whoever you uniquely are. Come on, let's go. Because, what else can we say? You were born on the incarnation cross of individualism. As a role model, hermit, and projector, you're here to demonstrate to others how they can uniquely be themselves without worrying about fitting into the status quo. That it's okay to be themselves and step out of the box of collective homogenization, right? First, though, you have to learn to be absolutely true to your own uniqueness. Once you've mastered this, you'll then have the transpersonal impact on others that you're designed for. It's a special gift in life to demonstrate what it means to be yourself, to be uniquely you. You have to walk your life first, sort out how to do it for yourself, and then you can be an example or role model for others. Hey. In summary, after gaining life experience through trial and error and then objective observation, you become a wise role model. You're here to live in the present moment, operating through life intuitively in the now, and when invited, to initiate and empower others to be uniquely themselves. You're designed to be provocative, to fight for your right to be yourself, and to provoke others into finding their spirit and purpose in life. You're here to allow your natural calling in life to emerge spontaneously, and to make creative, unique, influential contributions through your stimulating storytelling abilities. You're designed to overcome your fear of intimacy, your fear that no one's listening, and your fears of confrontation. You're not designed to let outside pressures run your life. You must keep an open mind about yourself and the world and not get too fixed on any one idea or concept. You'll have creative bursts of energy and your own unique extreme rhythms. Be aware of overdoing and working too hard. You're designed to be a caring soul, but not so much so that you create codependencies. You have a natural gift for solving problems when invited to do so. When you begin to use your strategy and authority to guide your life, and you live as yourself, you'll experience the parts of you that have been conditioned by the outside world dropping away. Your transcendence begins with you experimenting with your strategy and authority and ends with you feeling a sense of success with your life. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good stuff. You know, we're going to have to end it here because what we want to do is we want to go ahead and have a video for each type. So, on our next video, we'll discuss the reflector. You know, I have a lot of thoughts and feelings. I'm an emo generator, so I have feelings. I got a lot of feelings. And, but I feel like my emotional wave is up and down right now, kind of down right now. It was up a few days ago or like 2 days ago, 3 days ago, it was up, and it's like kind of been slowly going down. And so I'm not down right now, but I'm definitely not neutral. So instead of me going on the rant that I want to go in, y'all know I want to go on a rant today. I am just angry and dissatisfied with the world and almost everybody in it. Cause dang, it just shit doesn't have to be this hard. But I do get it. It's all a process. Nothing's running on my time. I don't run shit. I'm not in control of nothing. Uh, I'm at the end of the day, I'm very thankful to be alive. I'm very thankful to be alive during this time. I'm very thankful to have the opportunities that I have to do what I like to do, you know, and fulfill my mission or incarnation cross destiny, if you will. All these things, I'm glad to be able to experiment with these things. So instead of going on a rant, as you can see, I'm speaking positive things about what I'm thankful for, and, you know, I just kind of observe all the negative thoughts and feelings I might have. I just kind of just sit back and observe them. But I don't want to sink into them, consume them, and just have them consume me. So I'm not going to go on a rant. Um, I'm glad to be learning these things. I hope you guys are glad. Shout out to you guys for being here and learning these things with me. Thank you for taking the time out to listen all the way through um, and leaving likes and comments. I appreciate that when you guys do that. It lets me know that you're here with me, you know, and you're not that mad at my unique personality and perspective. It's all love, you guys. At the end of the day, let's just remember, love is the nucleus. You really can't go wrong uh, holding on to that and doing what you can to emit that frequency. So, with that being said, I hope you have a great weekend. Wholeness and balance.